All right, everyone, welcome back into another PrizePicks video. Going to be touching on the top picks for Taco Tuesday today. So with it today, we don't have that many props available just in general for sports. So I will be touching on NBA Summer League in depth here, but we also have League of Legends, WNBA, and also CSGO that I'll be touching on as well. Do want to start out with the NBA Summer League, so let's take a peek at it. Right now, we'll see that there are going to be some interesting games that we want to be targeting. We can see the Bucks versus Nets is going to be a high-scoring game, and I'll have some interesting tidbits about the Bucks team tonight as well. Maybe we can get some good odds on him in general there, or on some players there. Nets team is definitely interesting, and it might be a decent day for NBA Summer League DFS as well, just based off the players that we're going to be on. Looking at the Houston Rockets versus Thunder game is going to be a fun one. Easton and Jabari Smith continue to play well, kind of as expected. They probably shouldn't be playing in these games, but we also have a little bit of Portland versus the Hornets. Shaedon Sharpe went like 0 for 12 the previous game, so we'll see what happens there. Brandon Miller just seems like pure trash. And then we had the Wizards versus Spurs, which could be an interesting game as well. Also, Malachi Branahan went like 0 for 12 as well, so we'll see if those guys are going to be good bounce back options today. But I do just want to call this out. I am hoping that Underdog comes out with their Summer League props while I'm recording this video, so I can give you guys that information as well, compare it against them. They just don't have that out just yet. So obviously the 9-to-5 data cheat sheet that I've been using is not going to be updated. So unfortunately, we're just going to be going with PrizePicks only, but obviously with it being Taco Tuesday, we're concentrating our bankroll a little bit more on PrizePicks anyways. So I am a Bucks fan, so I was kind of following this information. We saw that, at least earlier today, Marjon Beauchamp had his prop here 19.5, but then Nico Mannion as well had his prop at 15.5. They have since taken the Nico one off the board, and that is going to be because, I'll just kind of pull up their kind of NBA reference stats. AJ Green and Lindell Wingington are both expected to play tonight, which could be huge in terms of, other props that we could be on. I'm hoping that we get some good prop lines for them. Looking at it, we can see AJ Green averaged 20.3 points and Wingington averaged 15.9. We look at the per 36, which they're not going to get 36 minutes, but those numbers go up a little bit. So I do think just kind of looking at their average is going to be good because, probably going to have around those minutes tonight at least. And if we look at kind of the Bucks reports here, we can kind of see that has been what has been happening, is that these players have been getting around 30 minutes. The ones that have been playing have been getting 30 minutes. I'm actually very curious as to how Beauchamp's going to play tonight, because in 2 games he's had 20 and 23 points, but obviously with 2 other actual scorers on the court tonight, most likely, I don't expect him to get that many shot attempts. I don't expect him to have that much usage. Okay, so could see betting the under for him tonight. We'll see. I'm really hoping that we get those props though for those 2 players, because they are expected to play. They are expected to have a decent amount of run. And then we just take a peek at the Brooklyn Nets here, because we have David Duke Jr. and Brooks for props. So what we'll see is that they both have about double-digit shot attempts, and with Brooks, he has been someone that has shot the ball 9 times from 3 in the first game. Then if we look at a second game, 10 times. Okay, so whether or not he has a good night shooting is really going to dictate whether or not he's able to get to the over 18.5 points. Personally, that's a pretty good 3-ball percentage. You kind of expect him to come back down a little bit there, or at least I do. Now we can look at David Duke's production. Maybe got into foul trouble, and that's why he didn't get that many minutes. Played 23 minutes, only had 12 shot attempts, but was able to get to 19 points. I do worry about that a little bit, just simply because a lot of that production did come, 5 points of it came from free throws. I don't think we can really bank on that, especially in NBA Summer League. So that'd be something that does worry me a little bit. Then we look at the other game, only 10 shot attempts as well. So I don't know. I'm kind of cautious about those 2. I'm curious to see if we're going to get any props for Chandler. He could be someone that we potentially look at for points, rebounds, and assists. If it's set at like 22.5 or 23.5, I think we could potentially look at Chandler then, but not exactly a lock and load there either. And so when we take a peek at the game log for the Houston Rockets here, while we switch up and get into the Houston versus OKC game, we can see that, yes, Terry Easton and Jabari Smith have predictably been going off. I don't know what props we are going to get for them. There's a reason why those props aren't available on the board today, simply because they don't know how to properly prop them up today. So looking at it, we're kind of focused on Cam Whitmore for this video, and he shot the basketball a ton. Only 1 for 6 from 3, 5 for 18 total. Love to see that though, honestly. Like this prop line being at 20 points is probably a little bit too high, but given the shot attempts, we could see him getting there. And if we look at the next game that he had, a little bit better there, 9 for 16, still 7 3-ball attempts. Love to see that there. So the production could be there. It feels like we're forcing a little bit, given the fact that he's only projected, or given the fact that he's projected to get 20 points. I mean, that's a lot. We'll see. We'll see what we can do there. Hopefully some more props open up. I had been smashing the points, rebounds, and assist props for Easton and Jabari Smith. Could be decent again today if we get those. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the Thunder now. So as we take a peek at the Thunder, it is interesting to note that they have had 3 games thus far. With that being said, we don't exactly know what to expect with minutes. I think it's best maybe to go off of the last 2 games or the games prior to the last game, the first 2 games, simply because Chet Holmgren played in that and probably just the best indication of what to expect. Although because of that, it does feel like somewhat of a stay away, just given the fact that we don't exactly know what to expect from them. The props that we have out there right now are Chet Holmgren for over 16.5 points and Trey Mann for over 18.5 points. I don't exactly love chasing either of those. I do expect them both to play well, but it does feel like we'd be trying to chase some production that we don't exactly know for sure is going to occur. So looking at the Suns versus the Pelicans, I do want to call out that really kind of the Suns have been bad. Part of the reason why is because probably their best G League player, Jordan Goodwin, got injured in the third quarter, started the third quarter of the first preseason game. He was well on his way to having a really good day. And then you look at the previous game, the last game that they just had, he also sat out in that game as well. He is someone that if he plays, obviously that's going to change the production for other players. But looking at right now, like we can see these shot attempts, they are so spread out. Okay, it'd probably be a situation in which we're probably forcing in players if we try to go the route to playing any Phoenix Suns players. We kind of have to wait and see if Jordan Goodwin's going to play. He'd probably be the only prop that I would want to go in on. But looking at the lines that we have here, to me, they just aren't any good props here for the Phoenix Suns. Okay, 13 points for Barry Brown Jr. Sure, if Jordan Goodwin's out, maybe that'd be the one that we would want to roll with. Hoping for 10 shot attempts and really maybe a couple free throws as well. That's how he's going to get there. So I think if we're looking at some props here, we're probably looking at the Pelicans. So let's go and take a peek at that. So looking at the Pelicans, I do love the fact that both Dyson Daniels and Jordan Hawkins have been getting a lot of run. We can see 30 minutes there and also a bunch of shot attempts. 14 shot attempts for Dyson Daniels in the first game, and he was able to get 18 points while going 0 for 4 from 3-ball range, which is pretty awesome. And then we look at Jordan Hawkins, also 3 for 10 from 3, but was still able to get around 16 points. So like to see that there. That should be good production. And then we look at the next game, kind of a very similar situation. Both of them kind of struggled from 3-ball range, but still had 17 and 16 points. The minutes were still there. The shot attempts were there. That is going to be something that intrigues me. And if we look at their prop lines, I mean, they're both probably correct. I would say Jordan Hawkins is one in which we are getting a slight edge. Dyson Daniels probably should be able to get to over 19 points, but I would say Jordan Hawkins at 16 points is probably the best over bet that I like thus far on this video. And as I was recording this, we are getting a couple of props here. So Jordan Hawkins on PrizePicks is a slight edge that we are getting. PrizePicks hasn't valued at 16.5, whereas Underdog hasn't valued at 17 points. So all in all, that should probably be a prop that we are looking at today, just because there's a slight discount. I love the shot attempts there. He is someone that just should have a better day shooting the 3-ball, and 16.5 points when you're shooting 10 3-balls or so, that's not that much. You need to make 3 of those to get to 9 points, and then you're just making a couple more buckets here and there. All right, so now we go ahead and take a peek at Portland versus the Trailblazers. Man, Brandon Miller just looking pretty bad, honestly. Like just forcing a lot of stuff is pretty much the best way to sum it up. I'm not too excited about him. He's just been bad. I mean, 5 for 15, bad in that game. The previous game, not a lot of minutes. I mean, sure, he has been a little bit impressive, I guess, defensively and just kind of overall athleticism, I guess, but he seems to be lacking a lot for a guy that was the 2nd overall pick, especially when Scoot Henderson was there. I don't know. He's shooting the basketball a lot. He's having a lot of seemingly a high usage amount as well. It's just not being that productive. And so the line of 17.5 points does seem very interesting to me, given the fact that he really hasn't been playing all too well. I would probably say that we could bet the under there, but that's really up to you guys. So Underdog does have this available as well. They have it at 17.5 as well. So probably not going with that one. Let's go ahead and flip it over to the Portland side. So Sharp, what do we do with him? Because in the first game, he was able to cash for us, which is pretty awesome. 21 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Very good there. And I think that's kind of what we would want to do with him. The shot attempts have been there, but maybe we're just going points, rebounds, and assists, because either way, he should be productive enough in the sense that if he's getting those shot attempts, he's getting those points, the points, rebounds, and assists should also be there as well. We look at the last game, only 9 points, 4 for 18. 4 for 18. He was like 1 for 12 going into the second half. So he was terrible. Okay. You don't expect him to be that bad again. He'll probably be the best player on the court tonight, which sounds weird to say, but we'll see. So I would say that this number that we're getting, 22.5, that all the numbers seem a little bit too high tonight is what I should point out. Okay. I don't love that, but all in all, the shot attempts have been there. Like if we're trying to do an over bet, we would probably do that for sharp at 22.5. Now for James, I always butcher his last name. Bjorknight? No, that's not right. He has been shooting the basketball a decent amount, and the minutes have been there for him as well. I'm kind of surprised that Amari Bailey hasn't been getting more minutes, so maybe we see that. I guess that wouldn't be shocking. We are getting a small prop line difference for him as well. Underdog has his line set at 15. PrizePicks has the line set at 14.5. So maybe a potential slight edge there, but probably not much. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the Kings versus the Bulls. And just real quickly, guys, if you're enjoying this coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe. That does help out the channel a lot. Curious if people are enjoying this Summer League coverage as well. So just let me know in the comment section below. All right, let's get back into it. Looking at the Kings versus Chicago. All right, so looking at the Kings versus the Bulls. So Keegan Murray, I don't believe he's going to play anymore. I forget if we had gotten confirmation on that. So probably just something worth looking into prior to that game going live. But in their most recent game, he did not play. So I would assume that he's not going to play again. So what did we see happen? I think we just saw the production get spread around. So we're probably not getting that many great props as a whole for anyone here. We got Kessler Edwards at 14.5 and Keon Ellis at 15.5. It does seem like they're trying to bait us potentially into the Keon Jones here or the Keon Ellis here, but I'm not exactly sure I'm seeing that. Like the production just has been spread around. To me, that seems like a bad decision to be really betting on that 4 points. So flipping it around, we can see Terry had 21 shot attempts and only 17 points in one of the games for the Chicago Bulls. That to me is something that could be very intriguing. And if we look at the prop line, it is set at 19.5. For someone to be in 21 shot attempts, like 19.5 points is really not that much. And we also see Nate Darling at kind of an interesting prop line as well. 1 for 6 from 3 in that game against Memphis, had 10 points in that game. Then if we look at their other game, Terry still had a lot of minutes in that one, 32, but 4 for 14. Had a bad night shooting, only 10 points. So it kind of seems like one of those situations in which you're probably just betting one or the other. And maybe Nate Darling is the one we go with simply because he has a lower line for no real reason. It's just kind of there. And then we get into that last game of the night. Oh, we just got some San Antonio props. All right, so I'll be touching on those as well. But looking at it, I want to be focused on Johnny Davis and Ryan Rollins, and then I'll be touching on the San Antonio Spurs props as well. So let's start out with Johnny Davis. Johnny Davis has been a little bit annoying in the sense that, he just hasn't had a great night shooting just yet. 2 for 7 in the game against Boston from 3-ball range. And then, he's been solid. He just hasn't really went off. I would say I like the fact that we were getting a slight discount on his points prop today compared to the previous slates. I kind of like the idea of betting the over there. Hopefully we can hit that tonight. We'll see if we get a points, rebounds, and assist prop for him. I'd probably want to go that route as well. But I mentioned with Johnny Davis, I like the fact that he's been playing aggressively. You can tell he wants to score. You can tell he wants to play well. Some of these other guys, they almost seem like they're too good to be playing in it. They're acting like they're too good. No, he's been playing aggressively. He wants to have good game. And then we look at Ryan Rollins. So his line is pretty interesting here as well. We can see a lot of his production in the previous game against Boston came because of 6 free throws. Once again, in Summer League, I really don't think we can depend on 6 free throws. It's going to be for you guys to decide if you want to kind of trust that. That's really for you to decide. Had a lot more minutes in this last game, but I think that's simply because of foul trouble in the first game. It's tough to exactly say, but I'm going to assume 5 fouls, probably didn't play that much because the next game, 4 fouls, played 27 minutes. About the same shot attempts, though, which is a little bit worrisome as well. Obviously, 17 points in the last game. And so, yes, we do have some Spurs props, so let's just touch on those real quick. So, Branham, 1 for 17. Just terrible night shooting. Don't expect that to happen again. 6 for 16 in the first game against Charlotte as well. Man, right? You just don't expect that. I do find this line of 18.5 to be kind of aggressive, but, I mean, for a guy that was terrible, he still shot the ball 17 times. Like, what? So we should have a good floor in terms of shot attempts. Doesn't take too much there. 9 for 18? Maybe it was 50%, but a lot of that production would be from 3-ball range. So really 3 for 7 or something like that. 9 points there, and then a little bit more production shooting the basketball. I mean, that's just crazy though. 1 for 17, bad. Then we look at Blake Wesley. He's a good basketball player, I would say. Just the shot attempts have not exactly been there. 6 for 17 in the first game against Charlotte, and then only 4 for 8 in the next game. So I feel like that's why we're getting that reduced line for him, but it's probably right. All right, and then just pulling up the prop board once again today, so we can see we are getting some prop line differences, but mostly in regards to PrizePicks potentially undervaluing some of these players. And the only one that I really liked a decent amount was Jordan Hawkins for over 16.5 points on PrizePicks. There are tight lines right now today. I don't see too big of an edge, but I will say Marjon Beauchamp, if AJ Green and also Wigginton do play and play a full allotment of minutes, it's tough for me to see him getting over 20 points. 19.5 is probably the correct line. But he's been impressive. Don't get me wrong. That's not exactly someone a bet that I think I want to be making, if that makes sense. Yeah, so for now, the best bet that I have to pair with the tacos that we're going to get throughout the day would be, well, geez, never mind. They bumped it up to 17.5 for Jordan Hawkins. Great. That's pretty unfortunate there. Wow. Tilting. Props content for you. All right, so I refreshed it on my end here, and now we can see the prop line difference for Jordan Hawkins there. It got bumped up a full point, and I didn't get to take advantage of that because I was doing this video. That's tilting. Annoying. Okay, let's move on into some other sports. We'll make that quick. All right, so I just want to echo this. I am not an esports expert by any means. Okay, just want to make that very clear. Not an esports expert. Okay, but we are seeing that we do have some prop line differences, and that's really what I want to call out. So for CSGO, like if you want to bet the over points or kills on map 1 and map 2 here for this one right here, I don't mind that. 34.5 here for PrizePicks. Underdog has set at 36.5. So there is a big edge there. And heck, it's not a terrible idea to go ahead and hedge with that. You could bet the under on Underdog then. And you can kind of do the same for all these. I mean, 1.5 kills is a decent amount. And then I will say for League of Legends, 4.5 compared to 5 kills, 0.5 difference. That is kind of big when it's that small of a number as well. Let's flip this around, see if we are getting any other differences as well. League of Legends, again, like 1 kill is a lot in League of Legends. So maybe you could bet the under on PrizePicks there for that one. And then looking at, we really just have some WNBA props, but none of them are like undervalued at all. So tough to find a big edge. Really, like Jackie Young is projected to get 17.5 points on PrizePicks. Vegas line has set at 18.5. Maybe something there, but obviously we are seeing that the under is favored there. You know, not a terrible one, a little bit of a difference there. I guess I'd be fine with that one. Like if we're struggling to find props, you know, we got to find something. That would be something that I found. And what I find annoying is that both PrizePicks and Underdog are pretty much speaking the same language today. There's not that many prop line differences. Once again, the Jackie Young prop is probably the only one there that we're seeing a slight edge there, just given the fact that they have already bumped it up. So yeah, it's a full point difference. I think we just go with that one and hope for the best. All right, so here are my favorite bets for the day. And I really want to kind of emphasize that we do not have a good day today. It's just, I want to make that clear, but we can see. So Johnny Davis, I just like the way he's been playing. I think he's a good player. Does feel like we're forcing that over prop, and it does feel like we're forcing that with Nate Darling as well. Because they bumped up the Jordan Hawkins prop by over a point, sucks. Can't bet that one. And then these two esports props, I'm actually betting the under on Underdog just in case, as a way to hedge a little bit there. But, you know, big prop line differences there, so we'll take that. And then Marjon Beauchamp, you know, been playing extremely well, been shooting the basketball really well. If you watch his made baskets, a lot of them are nothing but net shots. And, you know, he's been very impressive. The reason I think he was going to bet the under is because Lindell, Wigginton, and AJ Green are both expected to play today. If they play a full allotment of minutes, you know, you kind of just see some of that usage that had been going to Beauchamp probably go away. Okay. You know, he's still probably going to shoot maybe the same amount of shot attempts, and maybe they're even better shot attempts as well. So I don't love that one. I think I'd rather, once Wigginton and Green's props come out, I probably want to bet the over for them instead rather than this one. But obviously don't have those props out available just yet, so we're going with that. And then Jackie Young, Underdog has this projected at 18. Vegas has it projected at 18.5. So literally one of the better ones that we found today, unfortunately. But that's going to be all for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the coverage. Wish I could give you guys some better props, but that's the slate that we have available. All right, let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.